Welcome to another 1v1 matchup. Today we have SomePoorChoices versus Sandal Inc., otherwise known as Collected Dust on the forums. May remember him from making a lot of guides. This is a Group D matchup. SomePoorChoices comes in 1-0 after taking down Evolution, who also beat Raven earlier. Sandal is yet to play any games in this group, and it'll be interesting to see if he's able to make a mark here. He had a pretty good showing in the tag tournament, and he's always been known for the most off-the-wall builds, so we could be in for a real treat tonight based on what he's breaking out. And so that said, let's go ahead and get into this. Looks like both of our players are ready. We are starting on Palace. Bands were Panorama and City. So here we go, game one. All right. Looks like a 3-aura start out of both. Sandal with an unorthodox looking starting hand, yellow and purple. Poor Choices doesn't have a shield. Sandal picks up a second yellow. Neither of them appear to be boost mine yet. So I'm not sure what 2 yellows he would be holding on to. Could be a recall deck, although the monster character choice is going to suggest swords. Let's see. He's moving up. Oh, he does have a Dazzle. The red means he's got primarily Psycho. We're seeing primarily Nature out of Poor Choices here. Both at 4 aura. Sandal overriding. Let's go of a shield. Picks up another attack. Poor Choices already powered up a bit with a heat. Bravery decision out of Sandal at 6 aura. Looks like he's going to be looking to hit with some Excaliburs here. Does get enough aura to use Dazzle Railgun if he wants. Blazing Sword connects. Poor Choices not respecting the speed at which a monster can hit with a sword. Sandal's still looking to hit that last couple there. Going to hit another Blazing Sword after the Dazzle. Poor Choices not sure how to respond to this unorthodox play from Sandal. Already down 10 health. Sandal considering overriding in order to get 7. He'll now have access likely to at least an Excalibur, perhaps a Railgun. Let's see if he can close this out. There's the Dazzle Railgun. Likely still holding on to the Blazing Sword, and once he goes below 15, he'll drop it for an Excalibur. Looking to bust some shields first. Now, with the Fortress there, and currently no damage buffs, he doesn't really have any way to get through a Fortress. So, Poor Choices is actually in a pretty good spot as far as not getting hit by the swords, but it's going to be up to whether or not he can catch a manual aim with that Railgun. Which he's going to have a little bit more trouble doing. He doesn't have quite the same mobility as a cartwheeler or a jumper might. Playing a monster, he's not really able to get around the map as quickly. Does have a dash. Okay, so we know that the second yellow is a dash now. He has dash and dazzle. Poor Choices is just playing pole dancing over here. It doesn't respect the Excalibur. Again, the timing is tough. If you've never faced a monster wielding one of those circular swords, it can be real hard to time that block. And again, he baits it out with the dash. Wow. Sandal stomping round 1. We'll have to see if he sticks with that strategy. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. Going to Highway now. Poor Choices was not able to adapt to that. I think Sandal's going to change it up. Yeah, he switches back to a jumper. He's going to play something else here. But we might see something like that again on a later map like Lane if we get there. So let's see. We know that Sandal's been a big proponent of Disintegrate. So maybe he's going to look to hit a Disintegrate type combo on Poor Choices, or he uses a lot of the Mobilize and Still Moment. He has all sorts of wacky things he might do to him here. And after round 1, playing a monster with swords, who knows what else he's going to bring to the table. This has already been a great matchup to watch. Looks like he's still deliberating on what he wants to play here. Hasn't readied up for us. And here we are. Now we're going to get underway. Let's see what he graces us with this time. Alright, a little bit lower aura start for Sandal. He does have 2 shields, so if he gets rushed, there's a chance that he can defend himself. Poor Choices uses a level amp, and with that, has 7 aura. His second spawn gets him at least 1 more, 2 more. Sandal does get another aura particle and uses his own level amp. Looks like we're going to be seeing Optic Nature out of Poor Choices as we see the green aura. And with the purple, that means we'll be seeing Optic Faith out of Sandal. Uses another level amp. Poor Choices now at 10 in vibration range if he has some. Sandal also doesn't have a great spawn to defend against Poor Choices, who breaks himself a little opening there. Looks to be aggressing. The plus speed for Sandal is going to make it a little bit easier to dodge some of those swords. We'll have to see what else Poor Choices has cooked up for him. Sandal now also in vibration range, basically just running and keeping out of the range of Poor Choices. Accidentally jumps off the map, but that's okay. Puts him back at his spawn where he wants to be right now. And looks like he's running the recall game. So he's looking to play kind of the long con here. We'll have to see what he pairs with that. Has the Angel's Wing for the swords. But again, it is Angel's Wing, and it is not a faithful shield, despite being a member of Faith. Dodges away from the second Blazing Sword. Poor Choice is looking to put another W on his record here to tie us up 1-1 after Sandal's dominating Palace victory. I have to see what answer Sandal has cooked up here. He's clearly got something going with this double recall, triple recall now. Looks like he's going to use another speed up right there. There he goes, up to +4. Has the flash hole for that vibration laser if he shoots it again. Poor Choices, knowing this, does shoot it anyway, but manages to get a second one off. Sandal doesn't manage to jump the second vibration laser there, shot in that combo. Poor Choices now powering up with a heat. And a violent change. And now using Call. Looks like he's going for the long range on the, using the speed ups to keep his distance, and then he's going to use recalls and violent changes to try and knock Poor Choices out of the match. It's a dirty combo, but he's already taken a lot of damage early. He does have a race shield, so both attacks in Poor Choices' hands could be erasable. He has the Flash Hole and the Angel's Wing still. Poor Choices had a Flame Sword earlier and an Ice Sword. He may still have both of those after losing the Vibration Laser. Both could be absorbed by the Angel's Wing, though. Sandal with the +4 speed, not as much at risk. Uses the violent change. Poor Choice is starting to look a little lost here. Not able to keep up with the +4, and his melee isn't ever going to catch him if that's all he has. We haven't seen him shoot anything else yet, and he'd still have to break through at least a flash hole out of Sandal. Burning a few more of his capsules. Looks like he picks up possibly another attack here. He needs to try and get rid of Sandal's stats, but I worry that after 2 violent changes, that may have already been popped away from him. Sandal just running around the map, continually calling his capsules further and further away from him. Looks like he's going to use that one to use a recall once he gets to a good safe spot. Blazing Bullet does break the flash hole. So that is progress for Poor Choices, but now he needs another ranged attack and to get close enough to Sandal to use it. Oh, that could be rough right there. Turbulence catches him before he can hit that recall, and he loses the call. Not sure what the third yellow would have been, but that could be rough for him. Poor Choices has the health lead, so if they stay at 7 capsules, and he violent changes, which looks like Sandal already went and picked up another one of his. Maybe he can still recover, I'm not sure. That turbulence was pretty huge. Looks like we could be for a stall out. Even if Sandal can't get his recalls, that +4 speed's not going to be caught by a flame sword. It's just not. Unless he corners himself, which he was close to doing. Looks like he's still running around trying to find what he has left. Has a yellow in hand. Not sure what that one is. Has a purple, which I'm going to assume is a violent change again. Would only at this point knock himself out, not knock out Poor Choices, who has picked up another yellow of his own. Poor Choice is doing his best to rein in Sandal, but it's really hard as a cartwheeler to catch a jumper who wants to get away from you on highway. Especially one that has +4 speed, no less. We'll see, they just may be looking for the stall out here. Not the most exciting way to finish highway, but that turbulence hit at just the right moment. Sandal not really able to execute the remaining bit of his strategy. Perhaps his last capsule, the one that he called above Poor Choices spawn, may have what he's looking for, but right now it doesn't look like he's willing to walk through Poor Choices to get to it. Just running back and forth on the staircase right now. If no damage is taken for long enough, I believe the timer will cut several minutes off. So we'll see if that happens here. We did see that happen in the Multitude versus War Machine match on Palace. Little bit of filler time here. Poor Choices, little background. Used to be known as Agamemnon in the old Xbox Live days. Some of you may remember him from the forums or may remember him from online. Talked a bit about Sandal, known for some of his video series on the secrets of Phantom Dust. Also the author of the Phantom Dust guides. Pretty much any guide you can think of, Sandal did make it. Fantastic mechanical player as well. Can be a little bit weaker in a 2v2 situation, but one of the best jumpers for dodging abilities, but also has the ability to play at a high level as any character, whether that be a monster or it be... Looks like Poor Choices might be able to end things with a Vibration Blaster, but I don't think he's going to be able to get in range and or hit a +4 speed jumper with only 10 seconds left. The countdown timer did go into rapid mode, and that ends it right there. Ty moving on now to Refinery. See what they have cooked up here. We've already seen two pretty cute arsenals out of Sandal. Let's see what he brings on another large map like Refinery. Is prime for shenanigans. We saw him run things like Annoying Gift, Boost Mine, Quantum Decay on Highway, and I've seen him play it on Refinery before as well in the tag tournament. This is a great place because it has so many good places that you can hide and defensive spawns, and it's so large that you can often get away with some really janky stuff that you wouldn't be able to get away with on a smaller map like Palace or Lane, for example. It's also great hanging spots here as well. Makes it real easy to hang. Even cartwheelers can hang fairly easily here. Waiting on Sandal to choose his next arsenal. We are at 1 win to Sandal and 1 tie after Highway. Poor Choices still looking to pick up his first win. And here we are. We're ready, and we'll be going into the game 3. Let's see, we got a 2 aura start out of Poor Choices, an environmental, and 5 aura out of Sandal. Using a Mephisto's Pact, grabs himself a yellow, picks up another yellow from his spawn. Looks like we're in for yet another treat. Sandal about to hang. Let's see, Crush, nope, Judgment out of Poor Choices. Looks like that was a Forest Sanctuary. It wasn't up for too long. Taxes deal greater than 3 damage. I'm pretty sure that's Forest Sanctuary. Sandal uses the Boost Mine, boosts up his aura. Poor Choice is probably going to hold on to that Judgment for dear life at this point. Uses a Healing Water. Has another purple in hand. Gotta wonder what he's headed for. Wall of Current. Blaster out of Poor Choices. Uses a Violent Change. Loses the Wall of Current to a Fire Gehenna. Sandal using the Violent Change. Uses it again. Doesn't actually get any capsules, I don't think, out of Poor Choices. We see the yellow aura out of Sandal. Means he's going to be running primarily Optic, but we've also seen Faith. Purple out of Poor Choices. Primarily Faith-based Arsenal. We did see the Judgment also with Optic, hence the Blaster. Sandal now losing a Glacial Wall to Poor Choices' Blaster. Looks like he's using recalls. He may be using the same deck again, and we just didn't see the Forest Sanctuary last time. Or it could be a different version of this. Playing a little Ring Around the Rosie with the helicopter here. Sandal not willing to stand and take it from the Blaster. We'll see if Poor Choices has the patience. Or, nope, looks like he is going to run back to his base. Sandal, thinking about taking the short way home. Jumps off. Picks up an attack. Interesting. Didn't think he was going to have any attacks in this deck after the Forest Sanctuary and double Violent Change. Wonder what that yellow is in hand. Uses what looks like another Violent Change. Uses a recall. Looks like he's headed to go place that environmental down. Maybe that's an amulet or an orb he has now. On a barrel, we'll hang it. What? I am confused. I think Sandal just judgmented his own environmental? Does Judgment Poor Choices out of the air, takes a lot of damage, but he does lose 4 health of his own to the Judgment, and the Reincarnation fired while midair. Not sure if that was a misplay or a play I don't understand. Does look like Sandal judgmented his own environmental. Glacial Wall now stops the Reincarnation. Poor Choices likely still has the Blaster or the Fire of Gehenna, which can break that. Sandal at very low health. Poor Choices playing well this round, looking to put a W on the board. See if Sandal can find an answer here. Has a yellow. That's a Healing Water. Has another purple in hand. Probably still the Judgment. I don't know that... We did see the attack. It was now relearned Healing Water. Not sure why he's still holding on to the Judgment. Recall now. Probably would have been better if he used the relearn on the recall, but the extra health may prove a buffer that he needs. Picks up another shield. Loses the Glacial Wall. to what appears to be a Muramasa out of Poor Choices. That would have been a game ender right there if he hadn't blocked that. Flash hole now. Doesn't erase the reincarnation, but he's not likely to get hit by one anytime soon. Overriding aura particles now. Takes damage. Bull rushing the reincarnation. That ice sword still not proving too effective. A little bit of trash damage on both players. And looks like he's going to go and lay down another Forest Sanctuary. Takes more trash damage, unfortunately. Not a great place to be in. Poor Choice is not likely to give him the opening he needs to lay it down. One more blaster finishes him off. Choices retreating. Looks like he's going to let him lay it down and just judgment it once he does. It's at least 1 point of damage that he could get off of him. Yep, chooses to judgment instead of going to pick it up. Sandal now down to 3 capsules. Looks like he's still holding on to his own judgment and the ice sword, which is going up in cost right now. Not a good place to be. Neither one of Sandal's popping arsenals really coming out like the way he wants it. That turbulence on highway hit him hard, and now Poor Choices has him shieldless and no +4 speed. Looking to close it out. Sandal picks up 2 more yellows. Do we got recalls, or is he done? If those aren't recalls, then this is over. Doesn't seem to be healing waters, hasn't used them. And the Photon Burst finishes off Sandal. Poor Choices puts up a win on the board. We are now 1-1-1, headed into lane. Now again, this is a tight map. We could see the monster swords out of Poor Choices again. I don't think that's too likely though. Once he chooses a monster character, Poor Choices will know exactly what he's doing. I'm surprised Poor Choices wasn't ready for it when he saw the monster character hover before. Seems like he's tried 2 different capsule pop strategies. I know he's also talked about some Guardian Angel wacky stuff. We'll have to see what he decides to bring here now. I don't think he's going to try for any more capsule poppers after having the last 2 fail. Poor Choices proving to be a very resilient player and not get popped out either time against dedicated popping arsenals. Sandal again taking a bit, thinking about what he wants to play here. And that could either be strategizing or indecision. One, depending on the way you look at it, glass half full or half empty. But it's also important to think about that when you're playing as well. Whether or not you're strategizing or if you're actually just being indecisive, which shows a lack of confidence, which can be bad luck heading into your next match. Finally readies up, and we'll go ahead and get underway. And it's been real fun in some ways seeing what Sandal's brought out, but having 2 matches almost run out the clock has also been a bit tedious. Hopefully this one's a little more proactive, more like Palace. That was a ton of fun to watch. We have a 4 aura start out of both of them. Poor Choices trancing up. See if we can get over there. Not sure who's in whose base. Both tranced up. 8 damage fire again out of Poor Choices. Catches Sandal out in the open. Looks like Poor Choices is hovering Sandal's base. Misses the second one. Looks like a life-giving sword. Watch the Gehenna. Watch it, watch it. Misses the life-giving sword a second time. Gonna have another use on that. See if he can connect. Get some of that life back. Poor Choices retreating. Seems to be happy with the 8 damage Gehenna. Has a 4 health advantage. Sandal trancing up again. Is that a slide laser? Had a bad angle there. Does hit the 5 damage. Oh, it's missed. Sorry, that's not life-giving sword. I think they use just the same animation for those two, but he's using miss skills. Yeah, that hit hard. 5 damage out of the Mistblade with the trance. Needs to get some more aura going. Likely to see him try to get up to a level boost. Yeah, that looks like it is the slide laser coming out of him. Poor Choices does catch it with the Dark Hole. Overwrites one of his shields. Whether or not that was the Angel's Wing or the Flash Hole, or Dark Hole, excuse me, not sure. So far, I think we've only seen Faith out of Poor Choices. This could possibly be a single school. We only see the purple aura there. Sandal looks like he's running the Optic. Again, we have seen the Trance, so we know he's running Faith Optic. Has an Environmental. Looks like he's going to try and put it somewhere hard for a Cartwheeler to get to. Trance is up. Hits another Mistblade. I'm willing to bet that's an Opti that he's going to lay down. Enables the mist a little bit more. If he goes that way, he can jump on top of that building. Poor Choices can't reach that. Doesn't make the jump. He could just go put it in the cage on that same building. That's what he's going to choose to do. Oh, it's, I think it's Reduce Entropy, actually. Running Reduce Entropy with the Mist skills. Could be real rough on Poor Choices. Don't believe it's possible to get in there as a Cartwheeler unless you have plus speed. Poor Choices checking his arsenal. Looks a little dismayed here. All we need is one more hit out of Sandal. Still has the Mistblade, I believe, and now has 2 shields. But we know Poor Choices had Angel's Wing earlier, and we can't guarantee... Yeah, he still has it. And the wraparound takes Sandal to a 2-in-1 advantage as we head into lane. Again, another interesting arsenal with the Reduce Entropy into the Mist skills from Sandal. Mistblade doing work that round. We'll have to see if Poor Choices can answer back here on Sign. Not sure if either player really favors or disfavors this map. It's not one of the most played. So again, that can be a bit of a mix-up for people who don't play Sign very often. Sandal, somebody who's put in more time to this game than possibly anybody else after doing so many guides. Probably going to have a little bit of an advantage just in familiarity, having played a lot of the different maps. Probably more often than Poor Choices. We'll have to see how that plays out here, though. Sandal again, just like every other match, taking his sweet time and deliberating. I think at this point it's safe to say it is deliberation and strategizing, possibly one of the best minds of Phantom Dust here, rather than calling it indecision. Poor Choices, though, again, still showing a lot of resiliency, has been kind of 50-50 here. He's had a lot of really good games against some of the capsule popping strategies, but against some of the other interesting strategies like the Monster Swords or the Mist with the Reduced Entropy, has proven to be a little bit vulnerable in those areas. So it'll be interesting to see if Sandal decides to try a third time for a pop deck, bring out another unconventional deck, or if he'll just go truly counter logic and play it straight for once. Let's see, we got decent aura starts for both, 4 and 3 respectively. Each has a shield. As soon as we're done with the execution here, sounds like Sandal is tossing some reincarnations in Poor Choices' direction to feel out some shields. Both of 5 aura now. Let's see, we have, if I can get a closer look at my players here. Red out of Sandal indicates Psycho. I believe we were to reincarnation, so Psycho Faith. Another reincarnation out of Poor Choices as well with the purple aura. Doesn't tell us if he has another school or not. Poor Choices at 6 aura. Then we see the rock shot out of Sandal. Looks like he's trying to bait out the shield of Poor Choices. If he can break a flash hole with a rock shot, I feel like that's always a win. Sandal chooses to flash hole the reincarnation of Poor Choices, but I don't believe the aura was low enough to erase that. This may be the most straight match we've seen out of Sandal. He's got a reincarnation, a rock shot, and 2 shields. Poor Choices now committing to a shatter strategy. Poor Choice is the one bringing out some of the jank this time. Sandal looking to respond. Looks like they're still posturing. No damage done. 1 capsule shattered. Can't tell if that was anything important. Psychic Wall continues to block the reincarnations out of Poor Choices. Sandal still hoping to break a flash hole, I believe. Dropped his own flash hole, mind you. We did see that. Looking to have more offense when Poor Choices is in his base. Reverse out of Poor Choices. So we have Psycho Optic out of, or excuse me, Psycho Faith. I can't remember my schools properly, out of both players. Bravery Decision out of Sandal. Looks like he had a slow start getting that going. Trying to play a safe Bravery deck here to shut things out. Poor Choices takes a little damage, falling off the map. Sign falling apart quickly, as it is wont to do. Sandal now in Bravery range, has 7 skills remaining. Another yellow in his hand. I'm going to assume it's Dazzle Railgun coming in. With the reverse, that could be baited out. Yep. Uses the reincarnation to bait him into the reverse and hits with a perfectly timed railgun. Poor Choices not wanting another taste of that. Heads back to base. Looks like he has something there that he would rather pick up. Overwrites a skill. Loses the yellow as well. We're not sure if he picked up another shield or a different attack, as he overwrote the same color button. Sandal trying to get some railguns on him while he's in spawn. Trying to get a better angle. Using Call once again. Not sure what the goal is this time with Call. Last time had a really interesting usage of it. Sandal, the primary purveyor of odd skills. Poor Choices now back in base. Taking Sandal's capsules. The Call will make it more difficult for Poor Choices to reach his capsules. Manual aiming the railgun, trying to get around that reverse. Poor Choices takes more fall damage. Manages to get 2 capsules from Sandal, but has yet to erase anything meaningful. So, unless he can go for a full pop-out, which isn't looking likely, he's going to have a tough time. That Dark Hole, if it gets baited out enough, could prove detrimental. Sandal relying more on the reincarnation right now, trying to get some free Dark Hole damage and or a bad dodge out of Choices. Good dodge out of Choices. Poor Choices firing back. Poor Choices wants to shatter more capsules. Sandal forced to play fairly defensive. Another roll-off from Poor Choices. That is 9 damage he's taken from falling off this match. Gotta have better map awareness while running around this map. And nearly catches the railgun. Sandal eats his own reincarnation, but doesn't seem to mind too much considering the health advantage he currently has. Poor Choices taking a leap up top. Sandal unable to take advantage of it. Looks like he wants to try and play the waiting game up there and force Sandal into a bad position. Does jump down after a failed reincarnation. Looks like he's headed back up. Heads back to spawn. Looks like he was trying to find his way home. Catches the railgun finally. To see what else Sandal has. Does break the flash hole with that. Noteworthy that Poor Choices won't have anything other than possibly an Angel's Wing to block the Excalibur. And Angel's Wing, as everybody knows, doesn't actually block melee. That is an untruth, despite the fact that it has add, erase melee. So if Sandal can pick up an Excalibur and get a lucky hit in, even if Poor Choices has other shelters such as Psycho Shell, there is a way to get around it. But Poor Choices with his own Excalibur can't break through the psychic wall, but perhaps he could get a lucky wraparound. We do see the Angel's Wing, so if Sandal picks up an Excalibur, it could get erased. And Sandal, willing to take the damage in midair, throws a second reincarnation. And that is 3-1-1 to Sandal. Wow. What an interesting set of matches. We only had one single match played straight, but we saw 2 rounds of dedicated poppers and 2 other obscure decks out of Sandal, and he puts a solid win on the board for him. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have more coverage tonight.